Hello everyone, thank you for joining today's live, and this is our third and final part of editing with Final Cut Pro series. And as usual, I'm open to any questions you guys may have, so feel free to interrupt me if you have any questions regarding editing in Final Cut Pro, but as well any questions that are filmmaking related. I'm just checking, looks like the audio is working, looks like the video is working, so yeah, let me know if there is anything wrong. As you can see, my t-shirt is all full of drool from Raphael just before. He's home, so if you hear some baby crying, that's him. So yeah, ideally, yes, please ask your questions. It's going to make everything easier, a bit more interactive. That's the whole point of doing those lives. It's to be able to exchange and to answer your questions directly, and as well being able to demo them on the computer, which is much better than I think me doing those videos where I'm talking for 10-15 minutes about a topic, and I can't really answer your questions and show you in the softwares, because some of those stuffs are really practical and require some demonstration. So if you want to be able to comment and ask questions, make sure you are subscribed. A lot of you guys, I think 80% of the people watching the channel is not subscribed, and I think to be able to leave comments and leave any questions in the chat, you need to be subscribed. So please do so and ask away. Please consider leaving a like if you learned something, and share this video with whoever could be interested. Today we are talking Final Cut, and I'm going to jump straight in. Here we go. So we are going to take and start from the same project done yesterday, and let me open that. So same project on the past few days. If on the first day, it was last Friday, I believe, we went over everything, all the basics: importing your footage, opening a new library, opening a new project, opening a new event, and what everything meant here, and how to select your clips, or eventually to bring them to the timeline. And we checked the different options you had with the viewer, and the effects you could apply with these two boxes here, and the different tools you had. But we haven't done any editing yet, and this is what we are going to do today: some editing. So in this timeline, I already prepared some clips from you guys, if you just to save a bit of time, and I already imported it in the timeline. And it's basically 6 clips that are all shot with the A7S III in S-Log 3. That's a bit more advanced, and we covered how to color grade S-Log 3 in the previous video, but I'm happy to come back on that a bit later, whether in this video if we have time, or in another video, because that's way more technical, and I think that's only interesting to the people who own an A7S III, who are actually grading and editing with the A7S III, as it's a very specific workflow. Not that it's that hard, but this is pretty unique, the way you will work with this footage. As well, side note, here you can see that I've got in my view here, I've got proxy preferred. Even if I click on proxy on it, it's not going to change anything. Oh, my bad. I thought I had proxies created. I didn't. So proxy preferred. Apparently it's working because I believe my clips are all rendered at this stage. But at some point with my computer, I would need to create proxies, especially working with the A7S III footage. I already dragged those clips in the timeline, as you can see, and if I press the spacebar, I can watch the video directly. We're going to hide the waveforms for now. I already pre-cut them, but I haven't done all the work yet, so we are going to do some editing, and I'm just going to show you some tips and tricks of what I do to make my editing super quick. And the first thing is I use a lot of shortcuts. Let me put that on the side. I pretty much work only with shortcuts. As you can see here on this camera, for example, I've got only like a standard keyboard. I've got a trackpad on which which I use quite a bit. I've got a mouse, normal standard mouse. And the reason why I'm using the trackpad is because Final Cut is an Apple software. And to be able to drag my timeline from left to right, I can use either the wheel on my mouse, or I can just slide with 2 fingers from left to right. And I can pinch in if I want to, or pinch out. That I don't use it that much. But just skimming through the timeline and scrolling through the timeline sideways is, I really like having that on the trackpad on the side. Very, much quicker, just much quicker and much more, it's very natural to be able, it's like pretty much touching the screen and dragging my timeline from left to right. All right, so those are the basics. I edit with a lot of shortcuts, and Final Cut does have a lot of shortcuts if you want. And if you go into the command here, in the menu, command, and customize, you can see a bunch of the shortcuts already. Obviously you can see them in the menu. When you look through the menu, you can see the shortcuts on the side in small. But here you can have like all the combinations, and you can customize it to your needs. So if you are coming from DaVinci or Premiere and you're used to your own shortcuts, like I would recommend you can change them here. And even though Final Cut shortcuts are really good, I've pretty much changed them all. I had a talk recently with my friend Nelson, and he used different shortcuts, and he gave me some ideas for mine. So this is why, yeah, I would recommend you guys to use shortcuts just to make your editing much faster. A good example is, I'm going to duplicate that clip, so see how quickly I did that. I just pressed Alt and drag my clip on the side. I can drag it on top, and it's duplicating it. But let's make the clip longer just on purpose. If I use the brackets, so the brackets are the square brackets on your keyboard. They are on my Apple keyboard. They are next to the backslash, or just above the return button. But left bracket, right bracket, and this is how quickly I can trim my clips. Instead of fiddling with the mouse trying to adjust my clips, I just put how do you call that, the skimming line, I don't know if you, the playhead. You just put the playhead where you want to cut the clip. Make sure you select the clip. 2 ways of doing so. You can click on the clip, make sure you're on the select tool, which is shortcut A again, left bracket where the header is, and right bracket, and I've got my beginning and my end of the clip. Much faster than dragging. The other possibility you have is to use the blade tool. So blade in Final Cut is B. I think in Premiere, for example, it's C for cut. And see, now you've got a small scissor on the screen. That's only going to be if you're using the last version of Final Cut, because they just changed that. It used to be a razor blade, now it's a scissor. I used to prefer the razor blade. Let me know if you're more like a razor blade guy or a pair of scissors guy. And click wherever you want to cut the clip, and obviously press A or select tool again, and you can remove the beginning and the end. What just happened is I had to do a few more operations. Obviously I had to press B for my blade tool, click, then press A to change the tool, select, delete. If you count it like that's 4 or 5 clicks, right? And left bracket, that's all I'm doing. So it sounds like it sounds very basic, I'm sure, and it seems very basic. It seems very like beginners level, but trust me, it's one of the most powerful tool you are going to use editing. I was editing for years before that without using those shortcuts and doing it manually like this, or cutting. And I thought cutting was fast. Using the left and right bracket are going to change your life. I'm speed editing. If I come back from a shoot, joining all my clips on the timeline, I'm speed editing and I don't have time to take the mouse. I'm only on my keyboard, like if I was playing the piano, honestly. And that's it. I'm just playing back my timeline very, very quickly and doing my cuts with just my right hands. Left, right, that's it. The other two, and to go in combination with this, so we saw that the blade or using the trim tool. In combination with this, when I'm playing back, so obviously spacebar is going to be your playback, so play and stop. And I'm using as well JKL on my keyboard, and I think those are standard. The brackets are a bit different. I think you need to change them. If you just got Final Cut, you would use Option bracket to do the trim at the beginning and the end. I just removed the option because I don't use the brackets without, like I don't need to use the shortcut Option bracket. Bracket, the left bracket and the right bracket by themselves are good enough. So that's one thing. So I was saying JKL, L being play, K pause, and J rewind. And it's playing back real speed in reverse. Okay, in rewinding. The more you press on L, the faster it's going to go. So if you type twice, it's 2 times. If you type 3 times, it's 3 times the speed. Those clips here, like they look real time to you guys because they were slowed down by 4 or 5 times already. So that's the main thing. So here I'm like pressing 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, and you can go as fast as you want, as fast as your computer can go. And basically, like I was saying, when I come back from a shoot, if it's a pretty easy shoot where I don't have any storytelling, I'm just dropping all the clips on the timeline, I will just play, okay, find the beginning, cut the end, and that's it, and go on to the next one. So very quickly, I can go through a lot of footage, 1 hour footage, and trim it down to 1 hour, to a few minutes. So that was step number 1. Let me know if you have any questions. Feel free to interrupt me. And yeah, come and say hello. Even if you have no questions, feel free to come and say hello. What else? What can I show you next? Another shortcut I use a lot. Let me see if I can caster. Don't know if you like to show you those keys on the screen. I think they're not showing because I'm in full screen. Let's see. My keycaster should show somewhere. Give me a second, I'm just going to fix that for you guys. Display. They're not showing at all. That's too bad. Spelled. See if we oh, here we got it. Oh, that's interesting. So it's yeah, it's showing when I click on those, but it's not showing. It's sort of showing when I use the control, so Shift, Control, Alt option, but it's not showing which key I'm using, which is too bad. Display all keystrokes, but yeah, should work. It was working the other day. Font size, maybe they're too small, or where are they? What if we go on another? What if I try to rename something? No, they're not showing. Sorry, I can't show you on the screen my keys. That would have been much easier. Much better. Let's go back full screen. All right. So now what else? I'm using the that's going to be hard because I don't know the names in English. I really like to make it work. Stop. Start. Oh, come on, Keycaster, why don't you want to work? They don't appear anywhere. It's like they are out of the screen. See, I don't know all the names, and so are like commas, semi-commas, and like air quotes, or like I don't know all the names in English, and that's going to make everything a bit harder. Well, let's see which the ones I know. So command left, command right is going to help you select the thanks, man. It's going to help us navigate through the clips. So command left, previous clip, command right. When I say right, it's the right arrow, or command left, it's the left arrow. And it's going to help us navigate in between the clips very quickly. I'm using as well the semi-comma to position the playhead before, or the apostrophe to position it after. So those are next to my return key. And the reason why I would use those in conjunction with C is I would select my clip with C, so make sure the playhead is where you want, and I would use it in conjunction with keyframes. So here, for example, I make sure my play, instead of trying to find the beginning of the clip, I just press on the semi-commas, so like the 2 dots with the comma, and let's say we want to put a keyframe on the scale, press the plus, and then press my apostrophe and go to the end and change my scale. So let's zoom in, for example, and now on this clip, the clip is going to zoom in. So I'm pressing play. See, now it's zooming in as we go. So it's just helping using the keyboard only to be able to position your playhead exactly where you want at the beginning or the end of the clip. So much quicker. Another shortcut I use, and that one is done on the music. And actually I can show you a couple of things. So let's say you did your cuts. Another shortcut I have is T, and that one is standard, so it's the trim tool. Works in different ways. I press T. The first way you would want to use that one is to slide your clip within the boundaries that there is here. So to the left, to the right, see what's happening. Pretty cool shortcut, very useful to change your in and out points. As you can see, I've got two windows now on the screen. The one on the left being the in point, where your clip is starting, and the one on the right is where your clip is ending, obviously. Now, if I go in between two clips, see, like not with one arrow, but with the double arrow one, it's going to slide my cut from left to right without changing the timing of anything else over the clip. See what's happening is I'm changing just the end of the previous clip and the beginning of my new clip. Very useful one. And finally, if you go slightly on the right or slightly on the left, and I'm dragging here, so when I'm on the left clip, it doesn't change anything. But when I'm on the right clip, see what's happening. The rest of my time, it's going to make more sense if I have compounded timelines. So I'm just going to leave that out here for now and show you that later. I think that's pretty much showing everything. I do use the range selection, but we'll cover that later. Let me show you something very quickly. So let's say we did our cuts like I just did here. We're happy with that. Now we want to work on the music. And the first thing you would want to do eventually is like take gaming. Do you ever edit in Adobe Premiere? I actually do, but very little. I only edit GoPro, Max, and 360 footage in Premiere. I think that's pretty much never otherwise. The only reason I would edit in Premiere would be that I don't have a Mac. Obviously, Final Cut is Mac only. And Final Cut is faster, better in pretty much everything it does compared to Premiere. So I have no reason of using Premiere except for that 360 editing. That I'm happy to show you if that's something you're interested in, and like you have a GoPro Max or an Insta360 and you want to learn more about editing keyframing in 360. Adobe Premiere has a plugin that only works on Premiere at this stage. That's made by one of the developers at GoPro. And that plugin is the best, I would say, to reframe 360 footage. Whether it's made by GoPro, but it doesn't matter if you're using another 360 camera. It's very powerful. Has some lens correction as well included. Very powerful software plugin. Obviously, you can edit 360 footage in Final Cut, but it's not. Quality-wise, it's going to look great, but you don't have as much control. So, yeah, let me know if you want me to show you. I can jump in Adobe in Premiere. If you want to edit some GoPro 360 footage, I've got some on hand, ready to go. So if that's something that interests you, let me know, and we can change. But yeah, otherwise I would rather edit with DaVinci, because I think DaVinci is still better than Premiere. I have something against Premiere. Like all my friends, they know that. They know I'm not a huge fan. All right. Well, it's been 24 minutes. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Thank you for your questions and comments. I'm going to stay a bit, another 15 minutes, I would say. So if you have any more questions, feel free to ask them. It can be editing related, filmmaking, camera equipment, running a filmmaking business, pretty much anything. Or if you have any questions on one of my previous videos, feel free to leave them in the chat. Yeah, what else? Yeah, so if you want to be able to leave any questions in the chat, you need to subscribe as well. So that's why, like, if you don't see the chat box, it means you're not subscribed. to the channel, and I think 80% of my viewers are not subscribed. So please consider subscribing if you like the content. It's really helping the algorithm. Leave a thumb up if you enjoy the content. If you're learning something, consider sharing with a friend or anyone who would be interested in those videos. I'm doing a live every day, just testing something new. Every day at 2 p.m. Queensland time. Every time you can see in my schedule on YouTube directly. I've got every day this week programmed where I'm dropping on like during for 20 minutes to 1 hour, talking about all kind of topics, filmmaking related. So if you enjoy this content, yeah, please join the chat, ask your questions, and let's have some fun. I jump back in Final Cut. So let's say, yeah, I was talking about music, and let's say you've done your cuts, like I did my cuts here. I'm pretty happy with all of this. What you can do is, you've got your music. I've got a nice music. I'm going to put that on speaker. Let me change my... Pretty cool music from Artlist, and yeah, if you're looking for a licensing platform for your music, Artlist is one of the cheapest and I think one of the best. I think I've got a link in the description below if you want to join and get 1 or 2 extra months for free using that link. With Artlist, I've been using them for the past 5 years, and they're great. They have more and more music, great tools, sound effects, and yeah, some really cool sounds like this. So that one is quite easy, I would say, with the beats. But let's say you want to pump your edit as quickly as possible on YouTube, on YouTube or on Instagram. You want to share it as quickly as possible, and you want to spend hours editing. What I would do is look up for the low pass filter. And I've got a YouTube video, like I'll show you very quickly, but if you jump on my YouTube, so that's my YouTube, and if you go, so here I've done the sound effects video with Artlist, but a bit back in time, here 1 year ago, editing to the beat. I go more into detail, so I'm going to go very quickly, but here we spend like 10 minutes talking about editing to the beat and making your clips, your videos a bit better, and very easily using shortcuts, Final Cut. It's all about being efficient. And one of the reasons I'm not using Premiere is because I don't believe you can run a sustainable business today. And by that I mean like make a lot of money by using Premiere, by using a software that's slow, that requires a big machine, like a powerful computer that crashes most of the time, and when you have like to troubleshoot to find what was the issue, I don't think Premiere, and you have to pay a lot of money. You pay $70 a month in Australia for a subscription with Premiere to have the full Adobe suite, because if you are using Lightroom, like you have to take the full package. I don't think that's fair, and you don't have time. You need a tool that's going to export the video and be ready in no time. You don't, obviously you're losing some very advanced tools, but I would say 99% of the people don't use those tools anyway. So you'd rather use Final Cut. That's going to be much faster, much cheaper. It's a one-off payment. And then you can pump your videos for your clients, for your social medias. And that's the best way, like having a process and eventually make more money and run a profitable business. If you have a software that's crashing all the time, you're wasting your time, you're wasting your money. So that's just my take on it. And I'm very passionate about that if you want to go deeper in this topic. But yeah, basically, I'm just going to apply a low pass filter on this clip. And we are going to cut the frequencies, all the high frequencies. As I said, this music is quite obvious. The beat is quite obvious. You can see here on the waveforms. If you don't see them, make sure you're on that view, or even on that view. I like to keep that one and extend your clips. So really to extend vertically the waveforms. And we're going to make it even more obvious by having a low pass on it, drag it down, and see what's happening as I drag down my cutoff frequency, which means I'm removing all the high frequencies. I'm seeing only a few peaks left. And now if I keep the sound on, MacBook Pro, sound on, listen to that. So only like a few sounds. And now the next step would be, we are going to cut our music just to the length of the video, for example. It's random, it's just a few random clips, but I'm going to position the playhead on top of every peak I see, and and press M, another shortcut, M, and it's a marker. And I can put different markers, but let's put one and skip the small one, only on the big ones here at the beginning. Boom. So here, like see, I want to position my timeline on this, like it's snapping to this one. Press N or the snap button here, it's going to help you position your playhead where you want. So I'm just going to select a few ones that I think that are the main bits of the music. And you can see here on the waveform again, those like the bass. Like the what's left is the bass, so I'm only pretty much marking the beginning of each long bass. And there is a drop, so I'm marking those. So that music is, and we're going to start, I'd say let's start the music around here, pressing N again just to snap, to reactivate my snap. And here I've got another shortcut, Control F. That one you'll have to set it up. It's just to have those small handles popping out and creating a fade in, fade out. Otherwise it's like this, and you will need to go and fetch the handle by yourself. It's always a bit tricky, so I like to have it set as Control F. It's bringing one at the beginning and one at the end for me. And we're going to position our music like this. And then all you have to do, and it's really the fastest way to edit, you just trim using your mouse and drag over and snapping over those markers. Another trick as well with the markers, you can change those to do or chapters. It's just going to change the color of the chapters, of the markers. You can use them as they are described in Final Cut. I like to use them just to tell me different things. So to do usually is when I watch my video. Yeah, I'm going to use a filter if you're interested. If you want me to, I can do that. So yes, changing the color here of the marker really helps. Let's say I'm doing a final viewing of my video and I'm going to put a marker. It works as well on the video, obviously. I'm going to put a to do, which means for example here to put a filter, just to remind me. And I know I have to do something on this clip. So yeah, and then you can remove the markers, obviously, just keeping standard here. Another trick to make it even faster, as you can see, except that one, let's remove that one, but all of them, they are separated by exactly the same distance. And I think that's something I didn't cover in my previous, in my video about how to edit to the beat. But let's say, I haven't done any editing, but roughly, it looks like they are exactly spaced by the same beat. It's on the beat. So let's say that one is roughly the standard length. As you can see here, it's a 3 seconds 13. That's every time there is a big beat. And let's listen just to... Yeah, so it's matching like some beats, and I'll play it back with the sound. So I'm just showing you, yeah, bear with me, you're gonna be blown away by that. So I don't have many clips, so it doesn't matter too much, but what I would do here, so like I said, 3 seconds 13, mark that number, select all your clips now, Control D, and see here that part became blue. And I'm going to type 313. So it means 313 doesn't mean 3 seconds and 13 of a second. It's 13 frames. And we are in 24p, 24 frames per second timeline. So it's half a second roughly. And press enter. Boom. And see what happened? It's now my clips are nearly perfectly lining up with my music. I just need to do a few adjustments. On some music it works perfectly. It looks like the beats were more like on the 311, 310. Obviously, the music doesn't follow the 24 frames per second rule, because time is, you can stretch it as much as you want. So you have micro frames in it, and you could have like 50 frames per second and still be able to select exactly where the beat is. And like if you zoom in really deeply, so see that one, my marker was just after the big beat here, and here it's, see, like it's so easy, and a frame is that length. See how much is happening in between. You can see it's gray now in the middle, but that's the gray part is the equivalent of one frame, and see how much is happening in the music inside. So obviously, like, you won't be able to hear the difference, but if you want to do some very accurate editing, you need to be aware of this. And that's why, like, it's not always lining up. See, like, it's not possible to align this clip with my blue marker, because 1 second, 1 frame, sorry, as you could have you can put the marker anywhere in that frame on the music. So that's one thing to note. Let's shift our timeline, and now let's match the music to that. And obviously now what you want to do, because if I play it back, nothing is happening, you need to tick off. I don't remove the effect yet, I just tick it off, because we can use it a bit later. And let's play it back, and I'm going to put some music for you guys. Boom. So yeah, I didn't even listen to the music, and I just used that low pass filter, and see how, like, in less, obviously, like in the stream it took me 37 minutes to get there, but you can do that in 2 minutes. Literally like 10 minutes in, you could have cut everything to the beat and make it. It looks good. Like I know, like the clips here, like there is no story or nothing, but let's say you have you shot a story and you've got all the clips within the same scene. That would make so much sense. And you can, boom, I've got you make it 15 seconds, export it as a story, and it's like a high quality story on your Instagram, like super quickly. You don't need to do much, like crazy stuff. Just to come back to I see editing is saying, like, it's really confusing. It is and it's not. It depends of your time base. So one way to not have this issue with the markers is when you create a marker, you don't use the playhead to do that. You use the left and right arrow. So see, now it's matching perfectly. And I can zoom in as much as I want. It's going to always match perfectly, because my arrow, left and right arrow, are on the time base of your timeline. So press one at a time, it's 1 frame. So you can't go wrong with this. The difference is the musics are for some weird reason, I don't know, like, I wish maybe we can do that. Maybe it's a function, I don't know. But the music is not snapped on the time base. So let's say the music is playing at 100 frames per second. Because the sound is continuous, you know, like a video is 24 frames per second, or 30, or 25, or 60. But we all know that if you go above 24, it doesn't matter. It's going to change how it looks, obviously, but the trick is made. I think from like 7 to 12 frames per second anywhere, like it looks like motion no matter what. So, but music, you can't have a sound only every 24 beats, 24th of a second. But let's say, like, see, I can drag, if I remove the snap tool, I can drag that indefinite, and it's continuous. So actually, let's see how much I can move it. I've got, okay, it's divided by 100. Here we go. So we're just to show you, let's put a marker at the big, like 1 frame, and we're going to snap this first marker here. See, when I'm dragging, I know it's a bit more technical. Like I know, like, it's not interesting for all of you guys here. Well, I just wanted to show you something. But when I'm going to drag my clip now, and I'm not snapping on anything, so those two markers here are perfectly aligned, and I'm going to drag it. See my black box just at the top here is showing me how much I'm dragging it. The first two decimals on the right are the units, and I'm going to go all the way to 100, and it should to 80, sorry. And as soon as I reach 80, it turns to 1, and 1 aligns with this marker here, which is the 1 frame. So you've got 80 units in 1 frame. And it looks like it's pretty valid everywhere. So you can divide your 1 frame per, so it would be, it means the music is playing back at 24 times 80, which is, let's do it quickly. So that seems a lot. If I'm not wrong, if my math is good, so it's playing at 1920 beats unit per second. That's how accurate you can be on the music per second. You have 190 or 1,920 units you can position your music. But anyway, let's go back to more simple stuff. Let's align our music where it was. Make sure it's aligning, yeah, roughly. Let's do some coloring. Let's have some fun. Let's say we're happy with this. Very random clips, but visually it's cool. I'm going to make sure I've got no LUT and no effects anywhere. And one way of doing this is clicking on edit. I'm going to remove all the effects on my clips. Sorry, remove attribute is the one I wanted to use, obviously. Remove effects removes everything, including my speed adjustments. So remove attributes, it's going to give me the option to remove whatever I want. I can remove the audio attributes, and I can remove the effects, but I don't want to remove the retiming. So see, it's already unticked. Remove. Now I've got nothing applied on my clips. It's all log footage, and what we are going to do is put an adjustment layer on it. Hey buddy. Okay. It's gonna turn off the light. Okay. Do you want to say hello to everyone? Raf? Okay, let's... Hello. 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 Up. Give Papa a few minutes? I'll be right there. That was Raphael guest appearance. Yeah, I'll take you for a bike ride soon. Let me finish that video. When nearly finished. Nearly finished. Oh.
Darling, come to mommy.
I'll be 5 minutes, guys. Let's make it quick. We've got 5 minutes. All right, so I've got an adjustment layer, and so if you want to find out about adjustment layers because they don't come standard with Final Cut, just jump on Google and or YouTube. You've got heaps of guys showing you how to add them for free, and yeah, they're free and they're super easy to install. But I'm going to skip that in this video. I'll show you next time if you're interested, or leave a comment after the live stream, and I'll send you the link where to find that. Super easy. The reason I'm using adjustment layers is because it's much more powerful to do my color grading and apply the same preset, like you said. It's pretty much adding a preset over my clips. Here we've got only S7, S3 footage, and I've got my own presets that I've saved. They're all here, so I could apply one of those, but I'll show you something a bit. Well, let's create a look for this video, for example. So first thing I'm going to do is apply the conversion LUT for the Sony A7S III, just to convert my log footage, my log 3 footage to Rec 709. And for this, I really like using my Phantom LUT. So either the standard one, neutral. Here it's the more standard LUT you can get. And see now, like the colors are already much better, much more natural. And technically, honestly, you could be done with this. You could be like, you could say, okay, my edit is finished, and you could publish. And honestly, for some clients' work, that's all you need to do. Why go into like some crazy color grading when the footage, if you exposed well within your camera, why go crazy and try to invent some colors? Because the Rec 709 conversion LUT is already giving you the best result, one of the best, most kind of scientific or cinematic look you can get. So I wouldn't, like, honestly, for some projects, I wouldn't go crazy. The colors look amazing. They're very natural. Here we've got different conditions. We could do some adjustments eventually on the exposure, especially on that clip, because it's slightly overexposed. So let's go into the clip and let's make some adjustments. I'm going to use my color board. So to activate it, I go here, exposure, and here you can see my highlights are blown out. And so we can bring them down. And see, I clicked on the clip, not on my adjustment layer, because that's only adjusting the colors of that clip right now. So I just want obviously to remove the overexposure and the midtones as well. And yeah, that's pretty much it, just to make this clip look a bit better. That one is good. That one is good in my opinion. Maybe could have a bit more highlight because the chopper is very, like, is white and should be a bit brighter. So I'm going to increase my exposure. This clip, nothing special. This clip, you can see we clipped the highlight. Maybe I could have underexposed a bit more, I could have exposed a bit less on my camera. I can drag it down, see how far we can save, see how I'm saving. I don't know how much the compression of the live stream is doing, but I can save a bit of the clouds. Not too much, obviously. Because the sun is supposed to be at 100. You know, it's pure bright here, pure light, pure white. And here, let's see if I take it down a little bit on the highlights. Can I? Yeah, I can't do much. Let's drag down the shadows. So here we've got a nice look. And that's, like, you could deliver that. Like, honestly, any clients, if they are not happy with the colors at this space, it's the most natural colors you can get, especially with that LUT I just showed you. You could use another more creative LUT from the same pack. I'll show you where I got that one. Where is it? Sorry. So if you go on Google and type Joel Famularo, oh, it's gone. Go directly on his website. And so I've got this pack, the all-in-one, the bundle film look for A7S III. It's got some nice description, explains how it works. And yeah, I like the look. Like, it's not the first time I show his work in the live stream, because it's fantastic. Like, if you shoot with S-Log 3, just make sure you follow the instruction and you just apply the LUT. That's the look that it gives. It looks amazing just straight out of the, I would say, even straight out of the camera. When I do film, sometimes I like to have the LUT directly on my external monitor just to see what I'm filming. And yeah, the skin tones, everything looks that good. Obviously, he's using some really good lenses and probably some here, like a Pro Mist filter on his lenses. So just keep in mind that the look that you see here, yeah, it looks really cinematic, especially that shot here. Perfect example. But probably, like, very likely used, I'm 99% sure on these shots, he used a black Pro Mist. See how else the whites are diffused. So yeah, just something to keep in mind, that it's not only in the LUT that you're going to be able to achieve that result. They have very good lighting, and yeah, they thought about it in camera before applying any color correction. So if you want to go a bit crazier, it's got the film LUT, and I really like myself using the Vision Teal. So, see, it's giving that teal vibe, a bit green and teal. Sometimes it's a bit too green, but that's one of them. Or eventually I would use Eterna is pretty good, a bit more natural. I really like this one. It really depends of my conditions, the light conditions, and obviously the look I'm trying to achieve. So I'd say like with those cameras, especially like it's easier and easier to get the look directly after, which is just one conversion LUT. Like you don't need to do some, and I would say like I'm playing the devil's advocate here. I used to myself. Let me change the camera here. I used to, and I still do have a very heavy color grading. So that's color correction mostly and a bit of color grading, but I used to go crazy on the colors. I wanted my blues, I wanted my skin tones, and yeah, that's cool. That's creating your look, but at some point, like those LUTs here, especially, they were created to give that film look and the kind of look you see in the Hollywood movies. And I've noticed like the eyes is very. I like to just use those look and create a small variant for me to match my style, but I don't go as crazy anymore. And the other thing too is, if I want to go crazy with those new cameras, with the Sony A7S III, which shoots in 10-bit, or the Red Komodo or the Red Gemini, those cameras shoot in 16-bit, which means I can go really, really crazy on the color grading, and you won't see the you won't see any color destruction or bending, because those cameras have so much data and they are able to handle much more harsh and violent color grading. So yeah, it's all depending on your style. You don't need to go crazy to create your own style. Those LUTs are the proof. One thing I would do, let's jump back for another like 2 minutes and then I'll end up that stream. And if you have any questions, now is the time, because I'm going to log off. But if you're still watching, thank you, and leave a like, leave a thumb up. But yeah, so that first clip, for example, I don't, that color in the wild is really not my style. So what we could do, it's a bit too green to my taste. So if you go into the color board, and we are going to go into use saturation curve, and click on that small eyedrop here, and we are going to select the green color here. And now if you drag this one, I'm pressing the shift key just so that it doesn't move sideways. But see what's happening is I'm able to change the color of the water. Let's reset. I'm going to take a bigger portion of the picture. So I'm click and drag. So that's one way of changing. And now I have a way more blue look. So that's before and after. Way more blue. And I'm using the shift key on my keyboard to lock. See how I'm moving up and down, but like it's moving only sideways, because the first move is the input and the shift key is locking that move. That makes sense. Or you can kind of play with it and find your own colors. But I would definitely do something like this and use my color board in conjunction to find the look I want. So like I'm not a huge fan of the green and yellow, so I can remove that directly from the master as well. See how the skin tones here like are kind of saved. I've got some blue water instead. Let's leave Final Cut render the clip and I'll play it back. Last chance for you guys to ask questions, and then I'm going to end this. So we went from let me come back here, from pretty much this, which is already it's not the log footage, and see it's already after applying the LUT. So we went from this, that's the camera shot, to conversion LUT. That's all there is on this adjustment layer, plus my own corrections to make it match my style. So effect, and that's it. Yeah, I've got the kind of clip I want. think that's in comparison. This clip is very green, so I could do the same. Go on the clip and remove a bit of the green in the master. Not go crazy. It's really like a a few percent. I would use that definitely. That's my kind of color, much more. So I was before and after, and there's a bit of exposure adjustment as well. We could bring down a bit the exposure, but yeah. Yeah, same on this one again. Like that LUT is very green. Another way you could change it is change directly on the master on the. If you're sure that all your clips are too green with that LUT, you could do the adjustment directly here. And now it's affecting all my clips, and those are going to be too pink at the beginning because I made the adjustment in the clips here. It's too pink. But just to give you ideas, different ways of doing it. And because I did it after, now it's after the color grading. So now it's really like color. It's after the color correction of the LUT, the conversion LUT. So anything I do after is going to actually modify the look. Hope that makes sense. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Thank you for your questions and your comments. I appreciate talking to you every day. If you learned something from this video, please leave a thumb up. Really helps the channel. Subscribe if you haven't already. Share this video, share the live stream, share with your friends that we are doing live streams every day. Let's talk together. Let's work together. It's more fun. If you have any questions, any ideas for future live streams, leave them down in the comment below. Send me a DM on Instagram. Follow me on Instagram, Guillaume Cornet Films. And I'll see you next time. Tschüss.